Hi, my name is Lex Hristova, or Lex. I'm a cognitive behavioral psychotherapist in private practice and a senior lecturer in psychology. Today we will be talking about panic attacks. Why do panic attacks feel like heart attacks? The human brain is a wonderful machine which is developed over thousands of years to ensure the survival of humans by keeping us safe. A long time ago, the real dangers we faced were physical threats, such as animals who would hunt us, and fights with other humans for territory and food. We developed a biological response called the fight or flight mechanism, which is triggered by a part in our brain called the amygdala and has the singular aim to help us survive. The fight or flight mechanism allows us to passively scan the environment for threats and get us out of the situation fast, or equips our bodies ready for a fight if the threat is perceived. The adrenaline released when facing danger means we need increased blood flow to our muscles, which requires our hearts to pump faster. This could get us to run fast and far, or to tackle the threat, but it can also mean we experience palpitations, chest pain, and dizziness. What this also means is that bodily functions such as digestion are a lower priority, and when the blood flow moves away from our stomach to the big muscle groups, this can create feelings of nausea, a dry mouth, and even an urge to use the loo. Other normal symptoms of the fight or flight include sweating to cool us down, or if we're running or fighting, pins and needles due to the increased blood flow, and also the inability to focus or use higher cognitive processes such as memory and planning, as at that time our survival takes precedence. These symptoms may feel really unpleasant, but are not in any way dangerous. In modern society, our environment has changed, and with it, the threats have evolved. Instead of tigers, we're now faced with daily stressors such as increased bills, interviews, or even giving presentations at work. Our brain, however, retains the fight or flight and triggers the same system to deal with those psychological stressors, and we can therefore find ourselves with a pounding heart while sitting at work, whereas in the past we'd be running away from the tiger. This alert system isn't necessarily faulty. It's like a fire alarm which warns us loudly about burnt toast. We want it to function, but we need to ensure we can tell burnt toast from a real fire. It's the not knowing what is happening that can lead us to overfocus on these very normal physical symptoms and misinterpret them as something worrisome, like a heart attack. The more we worry about it, the more anxiety we feel. The more anxiety we feel, the more adrenaline, and the faster our hearts beat. It becomes a vicious cycle that can escalate into a panic attack. Luckily, this response is only meant to function for a short time, until we're in a safe distance away from the threat. So after a few minutes, when the body reaches the maximum adrenaline it can release, the symptoms will subside. Panic attacks and heart attacks are very different, but they may feel similar. Both are characterized by pain in the chest area, although the type of pain may be different. Stabbing and sharp with panic, and more of a pressure pain with heart attacks. Panic attacks normally come on quickly and peak within a few minutes, whilst heart attacks can last longer. The main distinguishing factor, however, is the context. Panic attacks can come out of the blue, whilst heart attacks are normally triggered by a physical exertion like running up the stairs, for example. And there is another important characteristic, and that is the behavior, or how we respond to a panic attack. If we feel we're in danger, we're likely to try and reduce the harm by engaging in what is known as a safety behavior. For example, if we have a panic attack in the shop, we may leave the shop, or sit down, or take a paracetamol. If the attack eases, depending on the location or that behavior, if it eases by leaving the supermarket or from actions such as sitting down or getting fresh air, it's very likely it's going to be a panic attack. Heart attacks do not respond to our behaviors in the way that panic does, because a heart attack is caused by a blood clot rather than our anxiety levels. However, engaging in these safety behaviors may prolong the problem, as it may accidentally make us think that we have prevented a catastrophe by sitting down or having a glass of water. A lot of people may call an ambulance, or they may go to the emergency room when they have a panic attack, and they're subsequently told that their heart are healthy. A subsequent attack is more likely to be a panic attack, and a CBT therapist can help you distinguish between those two events and allow you to do this on your own in case you experience these symptoms. It's also worth mentioning that people who have experienced a cardiac event may also develop panic disorder, as they may be hypervigilant to any symptoms in the chest area to ensure that they stay alert to a potential heart attack. This hypervigilance can make them aware of normal anxiety symptoms, which in turn becomes misinterpreted as a heart attack, and escalates into a full-blown panic attack. A CBT therapist will work with cardiac patients to help them distinguish the symptoms of the two and engage in small, safe behavioral experiments to start to challenge some of the catastrophic thoughts. All this work will be done through regular collaboration with the patient's GP or cardiologist, who will have a good idea of the cardiac recovery and what is safe to do in the therapy room. Hi, my name is Alexandra Hristova, or Lex. You can find me on Instagram at lex.cbt and on Psychology Today, Lex Hristova. This video was made in collaboration with MindFriend. They're an educational digital platform combating misinformation of mental health through accredited professionals. See you in the next video. Like, comment, and subscribe.